Hello, and welcome to Little Decisions Interviews. I have something very special for you today. My name is Victoria Cooper, and I'm the host of the Little Decisions podcast. I met Sandy Bird one bright and beautiful morning recently at Lucky Dog Agility, a dog sports training facility off Arnoldsville Rd in Winterville, Georgia. She was accompanied by her training dog and companion, Asta. Asta is a Pyrenean sheepdog. She looks like a typical sheepdog. Gray, long-haired, with short but not stubby legs. I basically walked right in and immediately began asking questions of Sandy, and petting Asta, of course. Wikipedia divides dog sports into the following sports groups. Quote, herding, obedience, protection, pulling, racing, tracking and hunting, or water sports, end quote. Dog sports are a way to build confidence in both handler and dog, as well as teamwork and communication. Agility is a niche sport all on its own. It's a speed sport. So what is agility exactly? According to Wikipedia, quote, dog agility is a dog sport in which a handler directs a dog through an obstacle course in a race for both time and accuracy. Dogs run off leash with no food or toys as incentives, and the handler can touch neither dog nor obstacles. The handler's controls are limited to voice, movement, and various body signals, requiring exceptional training of the animal and coordination of the handler, end quote. And what about the course the dog runs for agility? Continuing from Wikipedia, quote, an agility course consists of a set of standard obstacles laid out by a judge in a design of his or her own choosing in an area of a specified size. The surface may be of grass, dirt, rubber, or special matting. Depending on the type of competition, the obstacles may be marked with numbers indicating the order in which they must be completed. Courses are complicated enough that a dog could not complete them correctly without human direction. In completion, the handler must assess the course, decide on handling strategies, and direct the dog through the course with precision and speed equally important. Many strategies exist to compensate for the inherent difference in human and dog speeds and the strengths and weaknesses of the various dogs and handlers, end quote. Agility is best trained through positive reinforcement. Through methods like shaping, which is when a handler must patiently wait for the dog to perform a certain task and will then immediately reward the behavior, thus trying to shape the way the animal behaves. Sandy has a passion for dogs and dog sports that is quietly contagious. Being semi-retired, she now has the opportunity to take classes as well as teach them. Lucky Dog Agility is the embodiment of kindness in practice. The use of positive reinforcement for training gets the dogs and handlers excited about doing agility. Such exercises build better connections between the dog and its owner, and all of these things create a community of kindness around dog sports. Please enjoy my interview with owner and operator of Lucky Dog Agility in Winterville, Sandy Bird. I'm about to turn right into what looks like a big building. Okay. Oh gosh, is this it? I think this is it. Oh, she's got a lending library. How cute. Hello.
Hello there.
How are you?
All right.
Hi.
This is Asta.
Hi. Aren't you lovely? Look at all that beautiful fur. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. You said Esther?
Asta.
Asta. Ooh, I love that. Asta. Ooh. So I'm Victoria.
I'm Sandra.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Sure.
So this is just where you do everything, right?
Yeah, and so here, and I don't teach in here very much, so the agility field is out there.
Oh, okay.
And,
Yeah, okay.
and then we have other classes in here. When class classes are regular sessions. We probably offer like 20 to 22.
Oh, wow. 20 to 22 classes?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Not different kinds of classes.
Yeah, the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have probably 7 or 8 different kinds of classes.
Okay. Are they like levels?
Okay, so we do...
I'm sorry, do you want to sit down? I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I'm so sorry. I always have so many questions, so forgive me.
We do agility, but we're more generally a dog sports. We have what's called barn hunt.
Ah.
Which is where the dogs try and find, you have these PVC tubes with holes in them, and there's a rat in them.
Oh, okay.
And you hide the tubes, and then you also hide blank tubes for the dogs to find in the barn area.
Oh, okay.
So it's
it's called barn hunt?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's another, like, weird dog sport.
But that's neat.
Yeah. And it's nice because, I mean, it doesn't have to be an instinct sport. You can train dogs to just recognize. But by and large, it's an instinct sport. So it's like people and their dogs don't have to have a lot of prerequisite skills.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a way for them to have fun. And
yeah. What's typical training like for a dog to compete in a show?
So for agility?
For agility. Mm-hmm.
Our starting out level is a dog sports foundations class. Mm-hmm. And the thing about agility, it's not the equipment training that's hard. It's once the dogs and the person have a good working relationship, then they can make progress in agility. So we used to offer a basics class, which was really just a starter class, obedience class, but we really don't have the capacity now to do that, and there's some other places in town. So we start out with this class. It's called Dog Sports Foundations.
Okay.
And it does helps with the basic training skills that people need, like how to train your dog, and then, doing some skills for the dog and some pre-obstacle stuff and some introduction to some different dog sports as well as agility. Mm-hmm. So then after that, assuming people, so agility is off leash, so the dog has to have a good recall, come back to people, their person, and work with them even though there's other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And so once the people and dogs have that, then we have a 3-class series. They're 5 weeks apiece. We do them in a 2-month set. So there's a intro 1 agility, intro 2 agility, and a intermediate class before people go into the advanced class. So people that work on their own some and have a dog that's kind of like willing to work with them, they can get to the point of going to an agility trial, with it in a year kind of time frame.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of my students do it as recreation.
Yeah.
So they mostly just come to class once.
Yeah.
When they get in the advanced class, they come to class once a week and don't necessarily trial a lot.
Yeah.
So, we have a real mix there.
Okay.
And the people that do get into it becomes, they get pretty obsessive.
Yeah, is it addictive, kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this business is kind of like an addiction business.
Yeah.
Because once people get into it, then I've had students that have been in classes out here since we opened.
Oh, and what year was that?
It's probably been 16 years ago.
Oh,
I think
wow.
we've been open like 16 years.
Okay, wow. So you opened in 2005?
Somewhere right around there.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. You know, and
You're so good. You're so good. You're just so good.
I really am kind of a horrible little dog.
No.
Yes, I am. Yes.
So you don't have classes until early September?
Yeah, so we take, because it's just, so we cut way back in July and August. 'Cause
Yeah, it's hot.
It's too hot. And
Yeah.
agility is a speed sport,
Oh, okay.
as well as being too uncomfortable.
Hi.
So we mostly take July and August off. We have a few classes, like we do an intermediate class, because in September we start an intro group again, which we do on Monday nights. So we kind of have to finish up the intermediate section.
Hi. That's okay. Yes, I knew you were gonna do it. I knew it. I knew. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's fine.
Oh, there we go. Oh, she knew she was in trouble.
No, you're not in trouble. I don't teach you not to jump up.
That's
I
good.
could teach a dog not to jump up, but somehow, and that's why I don't ever teach the more basic obedience things. Because, I'm just not. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't mind dogs being dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I don't like when my dog, I have a little chihuahua, so she
Right.
barks a lot.
Right.
You know, she's scared.
Right.
And she's protective, and so that's fine. But I don't ever get mad at her for barking, you know, because that's
Right.
her job. Like, she,
Right.
you know, that's her instincts are telling her to bark, and so I just let it go. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are things like for me, it's like, well, because it's out there, I want a dog that'll come back to me and listen to me and
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
the skills I need. But yeah, it's like you're listening.
Yeah. Now, how many dogs do you have?
So I have 2 right now.
Okay.
There's a third one staying here just because the owner is having some serious health problems. So
I'm sorry to hear that.
he's kind of a long time
Yeah.
student and friend. So
Yeah.
until he hopefully can get back
Yeah.
into shape to get her back,
Yeah.
she's staying with you guys, and you're making her life miserable, trying to make her life miserable.
Well, good. Well, here, let's go to, can you explain what agility is specifically?
Agility is a timed obstacle course for dogs. There's jumps, tunnels, teeters, A-frames, and it's a speed sport. So it's taught how fast you run a course is important. And at a trial, the obstacles everybody's seen before, so you can train on the obstacles, but the layout is always different. So the handler gets like 8 to 10 minutes to walk the course without the dog, and then when you actually run it, that's the first time the dog has been on that layout.
Okay.
And you get one chance, and it's kind of a perfectionist sport. You
Yeah.
can't make any mistakes and get a qualifying score. But then, if you run clean, then it's ranked on how fast you are.
Oh, okay.
So it's this combination of speed and perfection.
Oh, wow.
So
I
it's
see why it's addicting.
yeah, it's intense. You don't have to be athletic, the human, but it certainly helps.
Yeah.
For people like me that are, kind of old and broken and slow.
Oh, no.
I'm slow,
Yeah, yeah.
We have to teach the dog additional skills to work farther away from us, so we're not running as much. But
Yeah.
that ends up not. If you're fast, then you've definitely got a advantage. To
Yeah, because
tighten
the dog can keep up with you, and
and you can be out there and be a lot clearer with where the dog needs to go.
Okay, yeah. They don't have to figure it out on their own.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and it's not an intuitive float always, so.
Yeah. Well, I imagine not if they're having to always switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to just be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is there a particular breed of dog that you see more often at, I guess they're called trials?
Okay, so there are a lot of herding breeds. The premier agility dog is probably the border collie.
Oh, okay.
Because they're fast and drivey, and border collies take repetitive training. They'll do things over and over and over again, whereas a lot of dogs are more sensible than that. They're like, I've done that, I'm bored now.
Yeah, I want to do something else.
Yeah. So, we see a lot of herding dogs and shelties, and like she's a Pyrenean shepherd, which is another kind of small herding breed. But we have everything. If you want to come look at this. Yeah. So when I built the building out here, my students did a house barn warming. So this just kind of gives you an idea.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, and there's another one down there.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Oh, and I love the art, too.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Yeah, that was actually another barn warming present.
That's so sweet. I love that. Oh, look at those. That's so good.
But,
Hi.
you know, and it's sometimes hard to look at this now, because this was when we put the barn up, which has probably been, I don't know, 8 years ago, I guess. And, you know, most of the dogs
Are gone. Yeah.
And, you know,
The ones that aren't probably aren't doing.
are definitely retired, and you know, there's a few of the people that are gone too.
Yeah.
So
It can be hard,
Yeah.
I imagine.
yeah, it is. That part is really hard. You know.
I imagine, do you think this sport takes a toll on the dogs at all? And I don't think it does, I just mean...
No, I mean, you definitely have some injuries.
Yeah, okay,
Like
okay.
ACL tears, but
Okay.
you know, the people that are really into agility and dog sports take really good care of their dogs.
Well, and I think that's more what I meant, is
Yeah.
that it probably helps them live longer.
Yeah. I mean, but, you know, an old dog is still, you know, a very old dog is 15.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And so these would, oh, some of them are big. Look at that big one right there.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cute. Oh my goodness.
So,
These are, this would be hard to look at. But they are, I bet it is nice though to remember working with them, do you think?
yeah. And, you know, and the thing is, then people get new dogs, you know. So there's, you know, and there's always puppies.
Yeah.
So, which
Which is fun.
really fun. And, you know, and I guess is the people that are gone is the even harder.
And that's been hard, I think, anyway, just because with the pandemic, I feel like
Yeah.
we've just lost so many people.
Yeah.
And it just puts mourning on the forefront for me.
Yeah.
You know, like it
Yeah.
just makes it hard.
Yeah. And, you know, as you get, I mean, I'm not that far from 70, and so you really have to, brings up your own mortality.
Yeah.
But, you know, just looking here, you know, surgery. Died a few years ago. And there's Sky. I don't think there's a picture of Krista, but there's a picture of Sky over there, who not only is Sky gone, but her owner
is gone too.
Yeah, died of colon cancer. And the person whose dog I have right now has colon cancer, and it's just like I don't know.
It's really hard.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. Can I give you a hug?
Sure.
Okay. I just wanted to give you a hug. Thank you.
So,
it felt too important a conversation to not end that way. But, well, I'm glad you're able to do that, though, for your friend.
Yeah, and it's not a problem.
Yeah. But, I mean, that kind of kindness matters.
No, I think that's true. And I think, he had no idea. He thought she would be here 4 days. When he went in for his surgery, and he's just never gotten.
Yeah,
So we'll see. I don't know. But, the really hard part is his neighbor is the one that died of colon cancer. And, it's like, oh God, it's just, but you also get to see things like, we have some juniors.
Yeah.
Who, Madison is now, 21 or 22.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah.
And she started out running one of my Swedish Valhounds and working him in class, and then showed him some, and then she went on to get her, own Swedish Valhound.
Yeah.
And they did really well together. So. Things like that are really inspiring.
Yeah, I was going to say those are the nice parts of the stories too.
Yeah.
It's like where you see people grow and like
exactly.
Yeah. Well, and that's where it's good that it's an obsessive sport because it means people invest their time and energy into it. Yeah.
Exactly.
I got that.
And and that's kind of dog. Now Jessica's more into just dog.
Yeah.
Stuff, frisbee stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's her main sport.
Yeah.
So.
How many dog sports are there? There's probably hundreds, right?
Yeah. There's a lot, and there's a lot of niche ones. We used to do dock diving, which is distance water jumping, but I took the pool out year before last just because pool management is a lot of work.
Yeah, all by itself.
And it's like pools are way too hard, and I'm trying to, if not completely retire, kind of semi-retire, and trying to get more people teaching classes out here.
Oh, great!
And me too.
Not that it's not fun here.
Yeah, and it is fun here. And one of the problems with turning a sport into kind of a business is I can be by the end of the week I can be tired of agility, tired of dogs, tired of people, so it's kind of like and I'm very excited now that I've finally got enough people teaching here that I can actually take a class.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really.
Yeah, that's got to be a nice goal to have met. Yeah. That's good. All right. So, what is? I know this is Asta. So, what is your other dog's name?
My other dog is Catch. He's a border collie.
Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you got Catch and Asta, and they both help you teach the classes?
Some, yeah, but the Swedish Valhounds were a lot better at being, working with other people, kind of like school dogs.
Being
like,
teachers?
Yeah,
like
because
working dogs.
Well, and she's fine, but, for her, it's all about me.
Yeah.
The Valhounds, and Catch is good, and he'll work for anybody, but particularly with smaller kids, he's just too big and fast and strong.
Yeah.
Kind of, and barky and is intimidating. So.
Oh, yeah. Versus Asta, who's just really calm.
Well, you're not calm.
Well, not calm, but really loving.
She says, well, at least little.
Yeah.
And the who's like the girl was working. I mean, they're great with kids, and they'll work for anybody because they want stuff, but they're not really pushy.
Yeah.
So
that sounds like the next dog I need to get.
Yeah, they're great.
Well, my oldest really wants. We had to put our pug down this past February. She had congestive heart failure.
Right.
And so once we did that, we've gone down to just one dog, and I want another dog, but I want like a bigger dog. But we just haven't seen one come through the pound yet. That's like our dog.
Right.
I feel like when it's your dog. Yeah.
Right.
Or at least that's been the case with all our other dogs. So we're just waiting.
Yeah. One of the Tara, who teaches out here now, is a pug person.
Yeah.
She had the top agility pug in the country,
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's like, somebody's a good trainer when they can really do that well with a pug.
Yeah, because pugs are not easy to train.
Yeah,
they're real stubborn.
They're stubborn, and Pocky was really fast, and with agility, and had the wind to run at 30 seconds.
Yeah,
because otherwise pugs aren't endurance creatures.
No, ours wasn't too bad. She didn't have as bad that nasal little, but she definitely though towards the end, like it didn't help.
Yeah.
It was tough. But oh well, good. Well, that's so cute. The fastest pug. We talked a little bit about some of the classes that you offer. Is there anything more you want to add about that?
No. I mean,
I thought you did pretty good explaining those. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah.
I mean, we do some other sports, like there's a kind of a rally, which is an obedience kind of sport where you have like signs with exercises that you do a little course of different exercises, which is a pretty accessible starting level dog sport. And we offer some things like a tricks training class.
Oh, that's cool.
And a recallers class where you work
on recall.
On recall, and a CGC, Canine Good Citizen class. And
so what's considered good recall? I'm just curious, like
that just when you call the dog, it comes to
immediately.
you
Okay.
Immediately.
Okay, there's no. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I figured, but I just want, because we're working on our Chihuahua, and so that's why I'm just curious. Because she'll get distracted.
Right.
So, and
it's being able to, you really want them, so when they hear their name, just check in with you.
Yeah. That's what. Well, and she does that with me, but she doesn't do it with anybody else. Yeah, but with me, she does it, and so I'm trying to train her since she's so responsive to me. Hi.
It's a whole lot hotter. You want to walk down to the agility field?
Let's do that. Yeah, please. And I've got my phone. Oh yeah, because it's getting a little. It's not bad though. Thank you for turning on the fan too. That's perfect. Hi. I love that you have a little lending library.
Okay, so the reason that ended up being here is so we could get a Pokestop. So if you have a free little, and it was great because, we all have a ton of dog books to share. But there are quite a few of us out here also play Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
So free little libraries are a great way that they'll turn them into a Pokestop pretty automatically.
It's pretty cool. That's awesome. Okay, so it's just right down here.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many people do you have, or I guess people and dogs, what's the number for an average class? Because I imagine you don't want it to get too big.
No, right. So for some classes it's 4, and for some it's 5.
Yeah, okay.
You don't want them too small because, like with agility classes, you need a break.
Mhm. That makes sense. Yeah, because they're trying to go as fast as they can. And
it's really useful for people to watch other people run.
Mhm.
Because a lot of the sport, it's partly dog training, but it's not about.
This is really cool.
Handling.
Yeah, I imagine you're training the human as much as the dog.
Or more.
Yeah,
because the people have to train their dogs. So you're teaching them how to train their dogs.
Yeah.
But you're also, the handling is, and the jump heights with this are, so little dog jump shorter. She jumps 16 inches, a 16-inch jump is her jump height.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a big dog, it'll be 20 or 24 inches. Then, like your Chihuahua would probably be 4 or 8.
Yeah, I was gonna say be pretty. Yeah, she can't. Although she's pretty agile.
Yeah, but you have to be careful with competitive jumping.
Yeah, we don't want her to get
over jumping.
Yeah, we try to get her to not do it, but she doesn't listen.
But if you look out here, we rearrange the obstacles every week.
Oh, okay. So they're always getting new experiences anyway.
Yes. And so it's like there'll be at a trial there'll be these same obstacles, but there'll be a numbered course. And you have to, before you run it, you walk the course, and then you have to figure out how you're going to handle it, and B, you have to remember where you're going.
Yeah.
Which, they often have like 16 to 20 obstacles.
That's a lot, and they're numbered, but you're moving fast.
Yeah, you have to remember where you're going.
Yeah.
So you can.
And you get 10 minutes, you said, to walk it. Okay.
To walk it.
Yeah. So do you practice that then too?
Yeah, and we have the classes usually we have warm-up exercises, which work on a specific skill, and then we'll usually have a section where you walk the course, and depending on the course, sometimes we'll do it in pieces.
Okay.
So we can, work through the specific issues on each part, and then sometimes we'll do the whole course just so people get that experience.
Yeah.
Of not running.
Yeah. Now, what would you say is the hardest part for the animal? For the dog.
There's two things that are difficult. One is the weed holes. Because there's just so. Asta.
Oh, that is good recall.
So we'll start here. this is the paw table. Down, 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 and stay down. All right, I'm gonna go down. Yeah. Wait. So I'm just gonna do from the table all the leaves off. And then the weaves.
Okay.
Come on, ready? Let's go. 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 Weave. Do it, do it, do it. Go, go. Go, 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 go.
Oh, that was good.
Basically have to weave. They have to enter with their by their left shoulder, so they always have to enter on this pole.
Okay.
So it's
So they
like
have to go like that.
so they have to go in here, and basically the feet on the pole stick out, so they never cross the feet
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
as they're weaving through.
Okay. You
And
did good. You did
so
very
so
good.
that's kind of a fairly
Yeah.
difficult to train, and we've gone over the years. We've gone through there's a lot of different training methods
Yeah.
to teach this, and over the years we've gone through different training methods, and it took me a long time to realize that the method that works for me and my dog is not necessarily a good class method. And that's for a couple of reasons. So now we've got, I'm pretty happy with our training approach to this for our classes, because I feel like it's the one that gets people most to having weaves by the end of the intermediate. And people still need to work on their own some, which unfortunately people don't necessarily do.
Yeah.
But, so this one's hard, and the other thing that's hard for some dogs is the teeter.
Yeah.
Because they're uncomfortable with movement.
Yeah.
Some dogs are fine.
Yeah.
If you notice down in the barn, there's looks like a lot of small wobbly
Yeah, I did notice that. Yeah.
And that's kind of so they get used to standing on things that move.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
The other thing that can be a training challenge, particularly for the bigger dogs, is you notice the walk across obstacles all have these yellow zones. So the dogs have to put a foot in the yellow as they exit the obstacle in a trial, or it's a fault, disqualifying fault.
Okay, so they can't jump off the side, but
right,
on the blue,
or from the blue
clear
to the ground. So training to make sure they hit the yellow can be a challenge. Some dogs that aren't too fast or too leggy, you can just kind of, they can get by on how they'd naturally do it. But Asta, come on.
Ooh.
Come on. Ready? Do it. Do it. We train what's known as a 2-on, 2-off position.
Oh, okay.
That you hold, which assures they get to the ground.
Good job, Asta.
Touch. Can you touch? Touch. Yeah.
Oh, that was so good.
And I just do that. Okay.
Good job. Good job. You did so good. You did so good. Let's get you again. Ooh. Oh, so good. She doesn't seem scared.
No.
Yeah.
If you do it with enough positive reinforcement.
And there, yeah.
Okay. Touch. Yeah. the shade.
Yes. So how long are your classes?
They're an hour.
Okay, yeah. Well, that makes sense. You probably can't get much more out of people or a dog after an hour.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And especially for an endurance type where you're fast.
Where you're moving.
Yeah. What does she have a favorite?
In
terms of any of the obstacles?
No.
Okay.
We work pretty hard because since you get what you reinforce.
Yeah.
Some dogs that have, you've worked a lot on the contacts at the bottom stop, they really start going for those all the time. Mm-hmm. Some dogs like the tunnels best.
Yeah,
So
the tunnels look fun. Yeah.
We kind of make an effort to kind of make the different obstacles equal value.
Yeah.
So you're not, because otherwise you have problems with them going off course too.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's my favorite.
Yeah, I'm going to go to that one.
I'm going to go, and then we're wrong course, so.
Yeah. Does that happen a lot?
Sure.
Yeah, I imagine so. When you said it was a perfectionist sport, I imagine it means that a lot of disqualifying.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's lovely in the shade back here.
Yes,
Yeah. Well, that was fun.
But so every week, and the turf maintenance and rearranging the obstacles is by far
the hardest,
but worst part of.
Well, you probably just have to move everything over and mow, and then move everything back.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting.
Yeah. So, one of my, I have started getting. There's one of our junior handlers comes down and helps me.
Good.
Do setup now, so I'm kind of trying to. The other thing about being semi-retired is having more people doing stuff, and had somebody come up that does, weed eating and fence lines and stuff.
Yeah.
Now. So.
Yeah. Well, and those are the type of things that I feel like when you retire, like you don't want to do those anymore.
Yeah, you're kind of like, and it's really getting things back to where it's manageable.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad you're doing that for yourself too.
Yeah. And otherwise, it would be. The community is important to a lot of people, so it's kind of, and I don't. It's my. Who would I talk to?
Yeah.
If I didn't do this. So.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we can go back in and finish.
Sure.
That sounds like fun. That was how. So when I've seen other dog handlers. They teach in like different languages and stuff. I mean, is there a particular approach to just like the basics of dog training that you prefer?
We're pretty much so dog sports are pretty much a total positive reinforcement sport.
Yeah, okay.
Because it's a speed, this is a speed sport.
Yeah.
And with corrective approaches, you might get an accurate dog, but you're not going to get a fast dog.
Yeah.
So.
They got to want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they, you want them when they come out to class, when, they turn in the driveway, they're whining with excitement.
Yeah.
So we do positive reinforcement methods. I mean, I really like shaping as a training strategy, which is where the dog offers behaviors and you kind of shape the final behavior you want by reinforcing what the dog
is giving you. Yeah.
And reinforcing the direction you want. And with the weave pole training, what I think is the most, my favorite way to train is kind of a shaping method, but Well, shaping requires that you kind of let the dog do the work figuring things out.
Mm-hmm.
And people have a really hard time being patient enough to do that. They really want to help their dogs.
Yeah.
You know, and that just gives you a different kind of learning.
Yeah.
And
I imagine it's just like how I feel with my kids, which is where I show them the path that is
Right.
like, you know, right, or the ideal path, but I let
Right.
them choose, and, you know, if they're failing, I have to let them fail.
right.
You know, but
Right.
it's the same idea with shaping. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that approach much better than I think, you know.
So so we end up doing a lot with what's called luring, which is where you have something the dog wants, so you bring them, you know,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
through.
Yeah.
But that doesn't give you quite as strong an independence with the dog on the dog's part with the performance. It kind of they're really much more like, okay, what are you telling me to do exactly? And my goal is having them know how to. Their job is to perform the obstacle, and my job is to tell them where they're going.
Yeah.
So the more independence they have in their obstacle performance, the easier
Yeah.
things are for me.
Yeah, which is probably what
Right.
you were talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and with the weave poles, let's see, do I have some 2x2? Here are the 2x2s.
There's some down there. Yeah.
So the way I typically train is weaves. Yes!
Ah.
So you wait for them to make the decision. Yes. I mean, obviously she knows this game. Yes.
Ah, good job. Yeah, she's figured that one out.
Yes. But, you know, when you start, it's slow. And so people are, like, trying to cue it a lot more.
Yeah, like over here, over here.
Here,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you want them to just wait.
Yeah, and just let the dog, until it offers that behavior or happens to do it.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then the dog really, it's like they remember it better.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that makes sense. I mean, you want to teach problem solving.
Right.
You can't teach the answer to every problem, but you can teach them how to solve problems better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But,
Oh, there's another dog in here.
yeah, that's Valerie teaches the barn herd class.
Oh, okay.
They don't trust them. They couldn't care of the rats.
Oh.
The rat people come out and check on the rats. I do check on them every day, but
Yeah.
I don't love the rats.
Yeah,
Just saying.
yeah. You love the dogs.
Yeah.
But I'm glad someone does.
Yeah.
That's good.
Somebody has to love those rats.
Yeah, and they probably enjoy their job too, huh? Yeah. That was neat to watch, though. But yeah, I imagine that requires a lot of patience.
Yeah,
and they might not do it at all.
And in class, it's just hard to get across to people in class. So, you know, and because then they're left with, you know, kind of doing this weave pole dance thing. So we have a method with gates and wires, so the dogs can work independently and get it right.
Oh, okay.
Because the channel's constrained. And yeah, we can get them really most people doing the weaves with that method, and we end up with like 15 weeks. Hey! Don't do it. Get in there.
All right. Well, I think we're almost done. I think I got just a couple more, if you don't mind.
Sure.
What's your favorite part of your job, of what you do here?
Probably like the observing and being able to, like, the reason this is happening is because of this, and I feel like that's what I'm really good at.
Yeah.
Is watching the dog and handler work together and really being able to, like, the dog is going that way because you're doing this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or helping people with their training problems.
Yeah.
And then the other part that's really fun is, so there are some dogs where agility is kind of life-changing for them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the border collie that was, just kind of a bit, border collies are a little crazy, but he was a total emotional wreck.
Oh, yeah.
And the first class, he, went in the tunnel and didn't come out. Yeah, just because he was terrified. But, and it took forever to get him across the dog walk.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I imagine.
A lot of work. But when he finally did,
Mm-hmm.
he was just like, he was so pleased with himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gone from, where his owner's a horse person and their training methods are a little harsher.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's not a person that tends to be like upbeat,
Yeah.
happy voice.
Uh-huh.
And it was so much fun to make her be really positive. No, you can't say no to him because he just quit.
Yeah.
Crying, kind of in tears. To go from that to where he can take pressure now.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was.
Seeing that growth in animals and people has got to just be amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
That part is really, really fun.
Yeah. Well, and I bet now that you're kind of giving some things over, it's probably easier to do some of that stuff, like to actually have time to observe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, and it's nice to not be financially dependent.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the business.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. Yeah. Good. Hello.
Hi. The rest was dead.
The old one?
No, not the old one. It's
Really?
so hot. They just have trouble with the heat. I wondered about him yesterday because when I put him back in the cage, he was kind of doing this.
Yeah. And they're at that age where once they become adults, then they start.
Yeah, and it's so hot. None of them look exactly that great.
No.
And the old guy has like a crusty eye, so I thought it was sure to be him next.
I know.
And how old is that thing?
I know. He's been around. So now he's outliving the next generation.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of impressive for a rat.
Yeah.
I chased the sheep up into the upper field because I was going to let the dogs run around.
All right, and feel free to close the little gate if you want. But once they're out, they stay out, especially if the collies.
Yeah, right.
So there was a.
Yeah, I thought it was too much to ask to have her behave when the sheep were right at the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was another funniness in the agility field episode. Mighty yesterday morning, Cotton ate 2 of them. Then they totally, they kind of the rest of the nest kind of disrupted Kate's class last night. So. the rabbits, for some reason, their favorite place to nest is in the agility field.
Why?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it
They're
makes
stupid.
It's
Yeah.
like the term "dumb bunny"
Yeah.
is there for a reason.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm really safe from predators because there's dogs here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Or there's a
Yeah.
fence.
Yeah.
No. You notice the dogs don't.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It would be everywhere. Yeah, they don't. Maybe they're thinking it will mask them, but they're not very smart bunnies. I'm Victoria. Hi.
That's Valerie.
Hi.
It's nice to meet you. I'm doing an interview with her.
Oh.
Yeah, for a podcast. Do you listen to podcasts?
No, I don't actually.
Oh.
My kids do.
Oh, well, they're fun.
Okay. Right.
Oh, I didn't mean to shoot you off.
No. I just wanted to tell her about
The sheep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Rat day.
flies. I really should like
It's
pack
so-
them up and take them home so they'll be in the air conditioning. But that's just
No.
such an issue.
No, I'm not doing that. That's for sure.
No, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about me. But
So the problem, it's like, okay, we can't, if it's the younger group dying off, we can't get replacement rats because the extra cage,
right is
now
it's taken up by the guy.
the old guy. So, yeah, we had an episode where there was some cannibalism
Oh.
of the older rats to the younger rats.
Is that why the older rat is living so long? Because he's eating the younger ones?
Well, we moved him into a separate cage, and then got young ones. and
Yeah, we
that's-
had to go to a 2-cage system.
Oh,
But
just
now-
to get, yeah.
just to keep
So,
him.
so we could have different, like,
Yeah.
groups, but now he's
Living too long.
He's
Yeah,
living too
okay.
long, so maybe I'll see if they've got a big one.
Well, I think until the heat breaks or something.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think that's true.
That makes sense.
Anyway, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. All right, we were talking about favorite parts.
So now tell me about
Yeah.
how are you doing the podcast? How do you make a living?
Okay, so I make part of my living from selling this stuff at the market,
Right.
Because I get donations and things like that, and I do make some profit from that. But then ideally, I get sponsors. So when I have
Right.
so many listeners, I can get sponsors.
Right.
So right now, I'm building up a listening. Like, you want to have a core following.
Right.
And they basically say for podcasts, if you have 100 people who are dedicated to your podcast, you can do anything. Because
Right.
they'll follow you if you do a book, and they'll follow you if you do this, and they'll follow,
Right.
So that's kind of, I guess that was my starting point.
Right.
But I just, like right now, I'm in negative. But I'm looking at it as like a new business, which
Right.
you don't make
Right.
money the first few years. And it's
Right.
true with podcasting too.
Right.
So, but I've started to build an audience. Like, I'm doing good. So I figure as long as I'm hitting
Quiet.
benchmarks. Aww. So I'm hitting the benchmarks I want to hit, but it's different for
Right.
like it's a different type of business. So
Right.
and for me it's not intrinsic, like
Right.
business in general isn't.
Right.
So I'm having to learn all of that stuff
Yeah.
on top of like they want you to do this social media stuff and they want you to do this and you should try that and it's just exhausting. But
Right.
because I do all of it, so I record, I edit, I do everything.
Right.
But it's nice because I have the freedom, so I can literally, like the other day, I wanted to scrap something and just restart. So I
Right.
just did.
Right.
I don't have to go through anyone.
Right.
But yeah. So I'm interviewing. I just interview basically who comes my way right now.
Right.
But my goal is, of course, to get businesses and things like that in Winterville. So I was really excited when Jessica had mentioned you.
Right.
Just because that way, ideally, it helps you because you have classes
Right.
starting soon, and then it helps me in terms of I get more listeners because they're like,
Right.
oh yeah, we want to hear more about the people in town,
Right.
So yeah, so I'm hoping that's how it works.
Right.
We'll see. So, but my podcast itself is about kindness in Winterville and Athens, and so so it's really easy for me to get interviews because I just end up talking to people about
Right.
kindness. So,
Right.
which is the part we're on now. So I'm excited. Okay, here we go. how do you think dog training and kindness go together? Because I know you mentioned in your email that you could kind of see, and so I was curious what you were thinking.
So, and I mean that's interesting because there the issues of what does it mean to be kind.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that's a really really interesting question. And in general, I feel like there's a lot in my approach to this, and this is more as opposed to, and because I did this in retirement when I retired from like a real job.
Yeah.
And so it's always been a lot more about building a community.
Yeah.
As opposed to building a business. And so it's really because of that, it's focused on making the lives of both the people and the dogs that are out here better.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think to me that's what kindness is.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's interesting because it's like with raising kids, the kind thing isn't always like the thing that makes people happiest the dog happiest in the moment. Like that's not the best thing necessarily long term. Although then the argument is, how do you decide what is really the better thing for people and dogs long term?
Yeah.
But it's kind of that's sort of the goal of starting this business was really. I mean, I started it because I got tired of going to agility trials by myself.
Yeah.
And like not have, because I was a homeschooler mostly, and when I got really desperate, I'd drive to Atlanta to classes. But you have long days at a trial, and I didn't have a community of people that went to trials. So, I mean, that was a lot about starting this
Was building that.
But and it's also more and more becoming, what out here and how do you make people's lives and their dogs' lives better?
Yeah.
Which I think is really the nominal goal is to teach dog sports.
Yeah.
But really, probably more my personal goal is how do we help each other and make our community, everybody in its lives better.
Yeah. Well, and I think my approach to the podcast was a similar one. Like, I knew I didn't want any. I mean, I can't get rid of the negativity in the world. I can't get rid of all of that stuff. I am not God, so I can't do any of that. But I can put out what I want more of in the world. I can do that. And so I was like, I want more kindness. So I'm going to put that out there.
Right.
Yeah. And it's amazing how much I find it, so, and it's about, like my podcast, I have 3 pineapples on the logo, and I say they're about kindness, connection, and community.
Right.
So I love that the way you're talking about community, because it's just the same feeling.
Right.
Yeah, which is that, you build that, like if you don't have it, you build it.
Right.
Yeah, I love that. Ooh, what is a random act of kindness that you've either done or had done for you that you'll never forget?
Well, one thing is just the barn warming.
Yes, the barn warming, yeah.
Which was a surprise party.
Yeah.
From
Aww.
the students that, they've done the boards, that church pew.
Oh, yeah, oh wow.
Brought that. they put in, I mean, it was just all kinds of decorated, because I'm like a slob.
Yeah, I wouldn't decorate either.
Yeah, that sign right there.
I love that sign. I'll have to make sure I take a picture of that. You know, I'm going to do it right now because I'll forget. I've been looking at that sign while we've been here because it's really pretty. So they gave that to you?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's so pretty. That is really kind. I mean, well, and so you opened that up about, you said 8 years ago, thereabout.
So the building.
The building, yeah. You've been here about 15.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so where were you before?
I was here, but we didn't have an indoor.
Okay, you just had all the outdoor.
We started out with the one field, then I gradually
Expanded.
Yeah. And put this in. And the originally, I put in the barn to do, so when we, on rain days, we just come in and do the classes here. But then we started adding other classes, and then I wasn't doing an outside the house job anymore, so it was easier to cancel classes when I needed to because I was around. So, but the barn got filled up with, I had other people teaching those introductory other classes, so then we went back to, we have to have rainy days.
Yeah.
So,
But that seems kind of nice that I have enough space to do that. Yeah, because I mean, this is really, I love this space in here.
Yeah, and it works really nice for the foundations and all those other classes.
What do you do with the bicycles?
So, one of the things we do is we try and desensitize dogs to different things. So, like for the CGC class, which is a base for therapy dog work, we'll a lot of times, and in the foundations class, have pull walkers out, and that's a knee scooter right there.
Yeah, I saw. I know. That's why I was like, I've had that one before.
Yeah. I've had a couple of foot surgeries, so I happen to have one of those around. So
with a nice basket too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So so we have things like Asta. No, you don't really need to do that, do you?
Asta was like, I just needed them to know I was here.
So we do that because a lot of, there's several people here that also do therapy dog work, like read the rover or hospital visits or things like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's wonderful.
So so we have a lot of things like a weird, collection of different stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I had noticed, when I first came in, I was like, wow, this is a really interesting room.
Yeah.
Yeah. As always, pineapple with care, guys.